Are you tired of watching shows that only give you general social media theory and expect you to figure out how to apply it to your own industry? Join us for this week's episode of Social Chatter, the industry's longest-running social media marketing news talk show. Not only will you learn the latest breaking news, but you'll also gain practical advice on how to apply it. Now here's your host, Christian Karasevich. Are you tired of watching shows that...
Welcome everyone to Social Chatter, your weekly social media marketing news talk show. My name is Christian Karasevich, CEO and founder of socialchefs.com. And this is our, 204th episode. You know, we blew past 200, about a month ago? But we have a fantastic show for you this week. If you guys can't see my t-shirt here, it says Facebook, and I'm not doing this on purpose, but this week we have a ton of topics to talk about that are related to Facebook. Lots and lots of Facebook news, but I'm going to go ahead and bring on my co-host, Phil Gerbishek. Phil, how you doing?
What's up, Christian? I'm great, man. That's cool that you got a t-shirt, man. I got to wear a dress shirt.
It's fantastic to see you again, by the way.
You too, brother.
We were just doing this, even though it's been a week.
I mean, yeah, it feels like yesterday, right? I mean, there's so much news that happens every single week that it feels like, it's amazing. So...
Absolutely. So we've got a new guest this week on the show. It's Arjun Rai. He is
Arjun Rai. Yep.
But he's the founder of Hello Woofy. It's a tool that we're going to actually demo during tool time today. But you want to tell viewers about our guest?
So Arjun founded this company, which is fantastic, right? We get a lot of these cool tools that people are like dying to see, and we're really fortunate that we get to see them first. So when you're thinking about analytics and campaigns and stuff like that, a lot of times stuff is really freaking obvious, and people run the same exact stuff over and over again, which doesn't give you any insight. And then we're like, if only there were a tool that did that. And then, what do you know? There is a tool. So Arjun, what's up, man? Glad you're here.
Hey, guys. Thank you so much. Sorry we're having some tech glitches, but I'm going to keep going in and out, but we'll make this work for sure.
We are here for you, man.
Thank you. This is a great opportunity. I really appreciate it. This is something that I've been very passionate about for years. I started my first company when I was a teenager, and throughout the years, I've always wanted to support small businesses, get people into, marketing, communication. So hopefully my goal is to, help through Woofy, help more businesses get online and compete with the big boys.
Awesome.
And as Phil mentioned, I mean, your tool it's very different compared to other social media dashboard tools, and by the way, we'll bring Arjun back on here. But the tool is a social media dashboard. It's got some really cool artificial intelligence features built in. But we're going to bring Arjun here back on. I guess his connection dropped. But Phil, are you still there?
Yeah, buddy, I'm still here. Right? So we can talk about this tool all day long, right? There's a lot of great stuff. We will talk about it in tool time, but let's try to bring him back on. And if not, let's cover the news and we'll make sure that we get to him when it's tool time.
Absolutely. So let me see what's going on here. Let me check with him.
Yeah, you check with Arjun. So let me tee this up. So folks, this week we've got tons of Facebook stuff that's happening. We got Facebook groups, we got some AR stuff, we got some different ad stuff. Twitter made some changes. Lots of interesting stuff happening for you this week. So if you're like, Facebook is not as intuitive as I would like it to be, I wonder what's coming next. Well, we're going to cover this week, and Twitter is finally starting to get smart in some of this stuff. So Jack Dorsey, maybe he's been listening to the show. So if he has, he's heard us talk about things that we'd like, and this is one of those cool things that he's rolling out this week. So really, really jacked about that. A lot of stuff that we couldn't cover, folks. So if you're thinking, boy, I want to make sure that I get up to speed, not just on the stuff Christian and Phil talk about, but also on all the latest social media news, you need to go to socialchefs.com/daily to get your daily dose of goodness. Christian puts this together for you. It's got all the stuff we're going to talk about and more. Again, that's socialchefs.com/daily. You'll get access to all the show notes, all the good stuff that we put together for this, and all the stuff that didn't make the cut. Really good stuff.
And I like how you mentioned that, things that didn't make the cut, because there was certainly quite a lot of news this week.
Holy cow.
That we can't necessarily cover.
Yeah.
It was like, 10 topics, I think, at one point.
Yeah, there almost always is, right? I mean, that's the interesting thing. I think every week, right, in social media marketing, we see more and more changes. And the thing is, We've only got time to cover 4 and 2 tools. That's all we have time for, but you don't want to miss out. I mean, these are things that can actually move your business, and you're going to be ahead of your competition. One of the cool things about social is first mover advantage. You don't have to be perfect. Sometimes you just got to move. So I really encourage folks, I get the newsletter, I read it. Sometimes I'm surprised. We're like, whoa, that's a big change, or, that's a small change, but an important one. So I really encourage folks to sign up for the newsletter.
So Arjun's just doing a quick restart, by the way. And that is the one thing about live video, is that live video can sometimes be glitchy. For example, we're talking microphones and cameras. And I want to just mention this before we get into the topics. And I'm going to go and bring Arjun on. Hey, Arjun, how you doing?
Hey.
So with webcams and microphones, for example, if you ever start up like, say, Skype, or maybe you have a different browser, sometimes your browser or an application will hijack your audio in your system. And if you're on, say, a Mac, you can go and change that in preferences. If you're on a PC, you can go into control panel. But the thing to keep in mind is just to just keep moving forward. And hey, if all else fails, do what Arjun just did, which was restart. And I think that we might have fixed the issue.
We might have fixed the issue, actually. It might have been dates, but let's keep at it. So I apologize, Christian. I missed the last tail end of what you were saying earlier.
We were just talking about how great your software runs on Windows 95, Arjun. That was really what we were talking about. We're hoping perhaps Mac OS X would come out pretty soon.
Yeah.
And if all else fails, Internet Explorer 5, still my favorite browser of all time. So,
95 is the year I immigrated to the U.S., so that's it's very.
So it's got a special place in your heart, huh?
Yes, it does, right here.
That's fantastic. Yeah, Windows 95 has a special place in my pocketbook because when Windows 95 came out, I became a tech god because nobody else knew what the heck was going on, right? I mean, think about that. It totally changed the game. So we could talk about that another day, but let's talk about Facebook, because if we talk about Windows 95, our 7 viewers are going to go away. So let's not do that.
Yeah.
So Phil, which topic on Facebook do you want to start off with, by the way?
Well, let's start out with the groups, right? Because we've talked about groups for a long time here, folks. Groups are they've been the gold inside of Facebook. And they've been a little bit confusing, right? Secret group, closed group, open group, public group, blah, 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 blah. Stop. Now they're groups made simple. Really cool. They have now decided that they're going to make these simple for us so that we don't have to worry about it. Because frankly, how do you invite someone to a secret group, right? They have to be your friend, and then you have to invite them, and then you have to approve them, and then you have questions. It's like, this is too much. So I love the fact that Facebook decided to slim this down and make this much more intuitive for us. So Christian's got up our Social Chefs group there. If you're not part of our group, facebook.com/group/social chefs, of course, right? So check that out. But Arjun, are you guys using any groups with Hello Woofy for private beta users or what?
No, it's a great question. Actually, we've been running our content masters group, which you can see on our hellowoofy.com website on the top right. It's actually been a great way to not only help one another in terms of freelancers and some of our clients helping each other, but it's a great way for us to very organically talk about new product releases, new features, new announcements, like Facebook changing up new features and making new announcements. So it's been a very good way for us to connect with our user groups as well. And we have about 300 people in there. It's not it's not a lot of people, but you got to start small. Grassroots movements are not happening on the streets. I mean, a little bit here and there, but it's really happening on Facebook groups, and that's one of the reasons why we integrate Facebook groups into our platform.
And
awesome.
By the way, I want to quickly touch on that. You mentioned you have 300 people in your group, and the key thing to keep in mind here for viewers is you don't have to have a massive group to get something out of it. Again, it's about what are you doing to help people in the group. A lot of people think like, well, hey, I have 100 people. Again, it's not about the size of the audience. It's about how you're helping those people and how engaged they are. And the thing you have to remember is if you have a group and you get so many questions in it that you can't keep up, you're failing with the group. So start small, get your group going, because the thing that you want to do is you want to actually have people in the group that also kind of help you in a way, that help manage the group, to help moderate it, help move things along, that help you not have to do everything. So, so the reason I have this, the Social Chefs group up is I wanted to show people the privacy settings, because right now, as Phil mentioned, there's public, there's closed, there's secret. And then how do you go about inviting people to this? It's not intuitive. It's not very clear. So what is actually changing here with Facebook groups basically is this. They're moving to a very simple model. It looks very, very basic. There's 3 types of groups. You have a public and a private group, basically. And then the public group is it's a 100% visible group. There's no public, with option A, with option B, with option C. And then you have the private option, which gives you private and having it visible by a search, making it easier for people to find, and then having it private and hidden from people. So that's essentially the big piece that is changing here with groups.
Yeah. Removing the mystery, giving us a common vocabulary so that now you don't have to be a social media master in order to understand this, which I think is super important and super duper helpful.
There's actually a great book that, talking about the topic of simple. It is a great book by Alan Siegel. And he, is known for making everything very, very simple. He's taken, in his book, I think it was one of his clients came up to him and was like, can you turn a 30-page legal document into something that is easy for my clients and my customers to understand? And he took it and he basically made it 1 to 2 pages. It's super simple. It doesn't compromise on the legality around the issue itself. But you and I are visual people. We're visual creatures, and we have ADHD, whether you accept it or not. We like to get on with things very quickly. And by simplifying, in this case, Facebook groups, it actually, I think, will allow more people to be part of the conversation and will reduce the barrier itself.
Yeah, great point. And that book is Book Simple, by the way. Good call. Yeah, good call. Really good.
So from a business perspective, how do you guys think this could help a business? Like we've got public groups, we've got private groups, and we've got minimal options for visibility. What do you guys think, Phil? How can a business help?
Well, I mean, for me, right now, you don't have to hire a social media manager just to set the darn thing up, right? That's going to save you money on the front end. And then on the back end, right, you can be really clear in how people can join the group. Now we've got, is it a public group? In which case, pretty much unmoderated, right? Which I would tell you, seldom do you want a full public group. Usually you want one of the 2 private options. You want one of the 2 private options because you want to make sure that you're asking people the right questions to let them in the group. That's one of the things that every good group should have. So think about the 3 questions you want to ask. Third question often is, so what's your email address? Because here's the thing, I let Arjun into my group. Arjun asks questions. Maybe he's got a private question that I don't really want to answer in front of the whole group, but he does. I do need to answer Arjun. So now I've got his email address. Paid attention to that, not because necessarily I'm adding him to my list, but because I'm now have his email address so we can have a conversation privately. So now we've got conversation going. We have this going. If you're a business owner and you're thinking, well, how do I do this, right? So think user groups, right? We talked about that. Arjun's got that with the Hello Woofy, the content creators community. Fantastic stuff there, which I just added. So 301 now, Arjun. So thank you for that, right? So there you go, right? So that's first thing, right? Second thing is you can test stuff out. So you've got some ideas for testing. You want to see. So if it catches fire in the group and all your ambassadors, all the people that love you, especially in a small group, right? Because they're only coming because they're passionate about what you do.
Yep.
Well, if that's the case, now we can activate them. Right now we can post that on our page, and then we can encourage the group to go out and share that out. And I've got a ton of other ideas, but Arjun, what do you think, man? How are you guys using groups?
I was actually going to add on to that. Imagine, in the old days, you would have customer discovery groups and you'd pay an agency to host it, and then you'd lose that, that contact, the communication with the individuals came in. If you wanted to do it again, you might not get the same individuals. You might get an entirely different set of groups, which, if you think about biology and, lab testing, you're trying to do A/B testing. In this case, it's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, testing, and your results are, based on that. In this case, you have exactly the same control group over and over again. You're able to talk to them, get their insights, get them to early adopt your product and services. And if it's good, like you said, if it catches fire, why not add another 300 people of their friends? Let them disseminate and distribute, and let the network effect take over itself. So I think it's very beneficial. Again, that's one of the reasons why we're proud to have Facebook groups integrated into Hello Woofy itself, because it's critical to disseminating information and allowing our customers, our clients, to be able to do what it's necessary to talk about their products and features in their own little communities themselves.
Absolutely. And, and the key thing with groups also is, to kind of, they should play a part in your social media strategy.
Yep.
If Facebook is a big part in your business.
Yep.
And as you mentioned, the thing I really love here is, you kind of, in a way, have to activate people. Like, don't just start a group and then assume, hey, everybody's going to join, and all of a sudden it's going to be very active. First, it might take, some action on your part to really kind of, stir the conversation, whatnot. But pay attention to who your members are that are answering questions, and consider making them moderators in your group so that they can help you move that group along and just keep it going.
Christian, one other thing I'd highly recommend if anyone's looking to start a Facebook group and they have 10 friends, if you know that Lisa is a copywriter and Bob is looking for a copywriter, don't just connect them on email, connect them in the group and allow them to be, promoted themselves. One person's looking for an agency, maybe someone else was looking for an agency as well, but he happens to be looking for a copywriter. You might get a client out of that as well. If you help one another, it's like the old days when you knew everyone in your town, you knew everyone in your village. When you went for a service, you went for, looking for something to buy, someone would recommend someone else, and or vice versa, et cetera, et cetera. It's the exact same thing. Let's all be humans and help each other, and that will magnify itself.
Definitely. So fantastic words. Phil, do you have anything you want to add before we move on to the next topic?
Nope, nothing at all. Let's move on.
So what do we have next?
So Spark AR now allows you to build and share effects on Instagram. This is a pretty big deal, folks. Now you don't need to be a freaking super genius to use augmented reality. Again, Facebook is smart. They're finally listening to the call for simplicity. And by finally, they've been doing a good job, right? They've rolled out a lot of templates, but now augmenting reality, I mean, Christian, we talked about this a year ago. This was hard as hell to do, man. And now they're trying to make it really simple for us. So I think this is a big move. This is a big, important move for Facebook, because now they're going to be able to eventually push Oculus at us, right? Now you're going to say, oh, you built that effect. Now, how do you see it? Oh, you need a piece of hardware. So I think this is pretty cool. I don't know. Arjun, what do you think, man?
I am actually a huge supporter of augmented reality. We actually had a prototype built about a year ago for our own marketing platform. So you and your client and your social media manager could walk around the office and see and almost feel the analytics in your hands. You can see why the campaign did really well or not, and it would go down in slope. And so it was like a very much like a 4D immersive experience. And that's something that we'll be working on later this year and early next year as well. But my take on opening the platform to everyone is that it's allowing for access. It's allowing for more creativity and more case studies to be out there so that more people can be a part of this. I'm a huge proponent. I'm a huge supporter of allowing access to information and letting a group of people see what they can build and what they can do with it. The internet was a great example of that. In the early days, a couple of people had access to the internet, a couple of people had access to technologies, and they were their own group. But look what has happened in the last 30 years. So much innovation, so much creativity. We've accelerated as a civilization more so in the last 30 years than I would argue in the last 200 years because of access to information. This augmented reality, the Oculus, like you said, it's all going to help us, move forward as marketers, as creatives, storytellers, all of the above. And I think that's a huge opportunity for us.
Absolutely, 100% agree. And by the way, I've got the Spark AR page up, the article actually from Facebook. Overall, I think this is a fantastic opportunity. It's also going to present an additional way to generate revenue for your business. So, for example, if you're into creating these types of effects, or these camera effects and whatnot, this is a tool to definitely check out. They have a desktop app. You can get that one by going to, it says spark.facebook.com, but that actually didn't work for me when I tried it yesterday. But basically, you can get it by going to sparkar.facebook.com. So got a little typo there from Facebook. But what that's going to do is it's going to bring up a desktop app that you can download, which is pretty slick. That desktop app is then going to be where you can go about building the Spark AR filters for Instagram. So this is pretty cool. What do you guys, anything you guys like can think of offhand that you want to start building with this, or what do you think?
Man. So I'm not a builder, right? I'm a user. I'm not a builder. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this happens. But I can totally see my buddy Joe Sorge, who used to run at AJ Bombers on Twitter. I could totally see Joe going crazy with this because he is so creative. And the stuff that he and his wife Angie do for restaurants and hospitality is amazing. So I totally could see them adding filters. They can add those, the bunny ears, the voice modulators. I mean, I can totally see that. And I can see event professionals using this too, right? So if I've got an event, I'm going to add a cool filter because remember, right, if we think about this 2 years ago, Snapchat had this, right? But it was hard as hell to build these things. I had to probably spend 10, 20 grand on a developer to hack this apart. And now I can do this myself. So I'm actually going to include this. I've got a presentation next month in October that I'm going to actually include this once this goes, because as event pros, right, one of the things they can do is you make your event more Instagrammable. Big change, right? Big change for them. So I totally see that that's going to be a big feature for folks. Me personally, not so much.
Christian, remember, like I said earlier, we're visual creatures inherently. We love to see things. We love to feel things. This is another access to that medium. And this is a digital scalable medium for businesses to take advantage of. But just imagine the communication, the storytelling that will come out of this. I mean, one of the things that we launched about a week and a half ago is the world's first emoji hashtag image and word finder. And we'll show you a little bit of that later on. But that's because we are going back to the days of hieroglyphics. We want to communicate through emojis. We want to, communicate through augmented reality in this case. I mean, imagine a charades version of this and allowing, families to be able to see, examples of, things that people need to describe or, play with. I mean, it's a great way to bring families and communities together because it's exactly that. We're being more visual and we're being more visual storytellers.
Yeah, and this is the other thing also I want to mention here, and Phil, you kind of alluded to this earlier, is that like you don't have to actually be a programmer or developer to be able to make these. No coding experience required. Obviously, if you want to make some of the advanced things, you are going to have to learn that. But I love the fact that it helps get you in on the ground floor to learn how this works, and then you can build and expand from there.
It's Wix.
Do what?
It's Wix for building websites, and it allows you to do that.
Absolutely. So this is Spark AR Studio. It's free to download. You can go on their website. There's, as you can see, there's tons of tutorials, lots of guides to help you kind of think about how you can build this into your business. Lots and lots of tutorials as well. They've got lots and lots of step-by-step guides that you can check out, as well as some sample effects and so on. But that's at sparkar.facebook.com.
Super simple, folks. Check it out, test it out, see how you might be able to use this, because get good, right? Start now. And if you're thinking about ideas, how you might want to use this, I'm sure that we'll put some in our daily newsletter. So if you're checking that out, you go to socialchefs.com/daily. We're going to have a link to this. We're also going to have some ideas, not today, but we will have some ideas. We'll put that together. Christian, as we go, right, and we test this out, we're going to make sure that we share this because, folks, this is only as good as what you do with it. It's great to have knowledge, but it's important you integrate it in your business. So go to socialchefs.com/daily, sign up, get the goodness, get the links. And if you can imagine it, you can make it. That's not our thing. That's Spark AR.
So I'm personally excited to try this out. Just see how it works. Again, if your audience is on Facebook, this is a tool that you definitely want to learn how to use. If your audience is obviously on Instagram, 100%, because this is now going to be tied into Instagram to help you build some effects and whatnot. And then the other thing you have to think about is branding. So as you're doing things, and you're building the branding for your business, the more people are using it, the more people are, sharing it with their audience. And this kind of goes back to what Arjun said here about Facebook groups. It's the same thing. You can kind of let that whole networking effect just take hold and have your audience help share it versus you sitting there just, doing the same thing. Let me go and share this. Let me go and share this. Let me go and share this. Like you have to have help if you want to get some traction. So
absolutely.
Phil, anything else you want to talk about on Spark AR Studio?
Nope. Just play with it, folks. Give it a shot and think about how does this integrate into your business. And last thing I want to share is make sure that it's on brand, right? Don't play around just to play around. Make sure this is on brand with who you are, what you want to do, and the people that you want to talk to. If this is not something that your customers are ever going to use, then totally ignore us. It's totally fine. But if it is, and I'm going to tell you, it's actually pretty funny. You see a lot of people, they use these silly filters and these voice modulators. If they Christian's wearing a Facebook t-shirt today. Arjun's wearing a Hello Woofy shirt, right? I'm a loser with a dress shirt, right? Because I'm working here. But, right, so I'm not as cool as you guys. But
nice.
Yeah, that's right. So, yep, I'm dressed for my customers today. But, right, so as we do that, you can do that virtually. I could put a Social Chefs logo across my chest if that was the AR thing we built, making it really cool. And people do this stuff, okay? People are fun, man. They don't want more work. They want more fun. And if you can make it easy to be fun and interact with your brand, then you can win. And I think that's really important. So Christian, maybe that's the first thing we do, man, is we set it up as a green screen so that every week, instead of me wearing this stiff dress shirt, I can make sure that I've got a, Hello Social Chefs t-shirt. We'll combine the logos. What do you think?
Yeah. I actually think it's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, right? So something we can do right away that we could do. So Arjun, you write that down too, man. You guys could do that too. I mean, think about it, right? This makes it super easy to get your brand more viral. And by viral, let's be clear, right? I'm not talking 1 million visitors. I'm not talking about that. Viral just means reaching more people than you could otherwise. That's all it means.
Yep.
So if you got 100 people that like your Instagram page, you can set this up and you can then go to 1,000, 10x your audience. Really cool, really easy.
Yep.
I guess I do have more to say about that, Christian? As usual.
All good.
I've always got more to say. So yeah, right? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's as we talk about this, I mean, the sky's the limit here, folks. This is stuff that we came up with kind of on the fly here. But if you're smart, you sit down in your creative meeting with your team, or maybe just talk to a friend at coffee and say, how are you using Instagram? How's your kids using Instagram? What would that be, right? Could you just do something simple? I think you could, and this makes it really easy. Spark AR makes it easy. So take a look at it, folks.
Christian, Phil, there was actually, I think a couple of months ago, McDonald's had their customers apply for jobs in 10 seconds, and as you're using the filter itself, it would put a little McDonald's hat on you, and it would look a shirt on, it would look like you look like a McDonald's employee, and in 10 seconds you had to explain why McDonald's should hire you. And I think that the metrics and the analytics were through the roof of getting a lot of millennials and a lot of next generation individuals through the funnel. I mean, that's just for job application. Who thinks job applications are sexy? But they made it super sexy, and this is allowing every company to do it.
Yeah, well, it makes, again, to your point, right? It shows me that you're fun. It shows me that you're fun. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, and you want to work there. You want to work there because of that.
Christian, go ahead, buddy. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, no worries. The other thing I was going to say is, it makes it also like when you apply for a job, a lot of times people always tell you, they give you the advice, hey, you should picture yourself like working at this company, for example, to give yourself that confidence, that boost. And I love the idea of that. And as Phil mentioned, I mean, it makes it fun. So fantastic ideas all around, by the way.
Wow. Good stuff. Well, cool. Well, let's stay on Facebook. Because we've got one more, and then let's move over to Twitter, because this is interesting, right? They've got these special ad audiences. Now, this is really fantastic. This is about helping brands avoid discriminatory practices. Because, I have to tell you, this is one of those things. Like a few months ago, they rolled out this warning that said, by running an ad, you agree to not discriminate. Well, what the heck does that even mean, right? I mean, Arjun, I didn't mean to discriminate against the fact you had brown eyes by running an ad for you, but I did. So that's a problem, right? So I think this is really interesting because now they're helping us be more intentional, right? So if I am discriminating against Arjun, because, people with beards I don't trust, then I'm doing it on purpose, right? And now it's on purpose, though. And now I should get banged, right? But if I'm not, if I accidentally did it because I accidentally picked the wrong category, I shouldn't be. So I think this makes a lot of sense. It really helps people be more clear in what they're doing. I don't know, Arjun, what do you think, buddy?
Well, I was going to say, if I may take the other end, I mean, say I was, a company that, is about, shaving itself, it's about shaving, and I only want to target people who have beards on them. Maybe it's a better way to target. But I mean, the saying that, the famous saying that, half the money I spent on advertising is wasted. The trouble is, I don't know which half. In this case, it's kind of magnifying that because it's really, in the effort to level the playing field in terms of the ad targeting, they really made it a little bit harder for marketers to truly get to relevant messaging to the right individuals. And then it begs the question, if I see an ad that isn't targeted towards me, do I get more angry? Do I get more frustrated because Facebook is targeting me, inappropriately? But the fact of the matter is that's because of maybe this new update on the ad audiences side. So it's a little bit of give and take, but I appreciate the effort. I think it's a great effort to allow for the leveling of the playing field. But at the end of the day, if you don't know which half of your marketing budget is really working, this might be actually you might figure out 75% of it is not working because you're trying not to be discriminatory. And of course, I think no marketer wants to be discriminatory. They just want to get the relevant message to their clients.
I totally agree. I think that's a really, really good point. Christian, what are you going to say?
I was just going to say that, with these categories, like they cover things such as like credit opportunities, employment opportunities, housing opportunities, but that's like not just the 3 examples that they're going to allow for special ad categories. So you do have to keep that in mind. And also just remember, kind of as Arjun mentioned here, it is going to change also the targeting options that you normally were getting for Facebook ads. So for example, if you're using the special categories, it's also going to adjust the lookalike audiences option. So just keep that in mind if like you've been using that whole tried and true method, and then now you're wanting to target someone with this. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, Arjun, you made a good point though, right? We do want to be more relevant, but here's the thing, right? I don't want to be relevant if it's discriminatory. And I think what was happening before is people were doing this on accident. Right. I really do. And while I don't like the fact that it's not easy to be as relevant as I'd like, frankly, if I'm being less relevant and not discriminating, I'm actually okay with that. Right. So that's a good trade-off. And to that point, right, I think if you're listening to this and you're like, I would never discriminate against anybody. Well, that's fantastic, but you might have. Not because you did it on purpose, right? I just want you to hear, folks, that this is a really good thing. This gives you an opportunity now to not make mistakes, though it does lower relevance, perhaps. It also makes sure that you're above board, because I know everybody that listens to Social Chatter every week always wants to be above board. That's really important, right? You want to run an ethical business. You're not just money at all costs, because if you were, you'd be watching one of our competitor shows who's all about how to screw people and, extricate them from their money. And we wouldn't have great guests like Arjun if that were the case. So that is not our jam at all. It is always about doing the right things for the right reasons with the right people.
I think at the end of the day, marketers are going to be creative. They're in the creative industry. They're going to figure it out. They're going to, use this as an opportunity to compete even more effectively, because the barrier might be against them or maybe not. I think, it's just an opportunity. And as any good marketer that's passionate about their work will be able to, get beyond that.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Totally agree. So use your creativity. Yep. Christian, go ahead. You got the last word.
I don't have anything else to add to this, actually. I mean, we've covered a lot of Facebook topics. Do you guys want to switch gears? Maybe do a little Twitter, get into some tools?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about Twitter, right? Real quick here. We got 5 minutes before it's tool time here. And Twitter, actually, I kind of beat on them every week because they're about 100 years behind the curve when it comes to tech. But this is actually good. I mean, I've only been asking for this since 1984, so I'm pretty excited about this. The fact that now you can actually subscribe to a reply. So I think about this. I might want to have a conversation with someone by listening, which is really important, right? I might not, for instance, I might want to see what our president has to say, but I frankly do not want to stick my butt in that conversation because I'm just going to get roasted, right? Because there's tons of spam bots, tons of folks out there that are super opinionated about this. I just want to listen and learn, but I do want to see what are people saying in this conversation. So now I can check that out. I can subscribe to it, and even better, I can block it. So now I don't have to see that crap. Now I can say, you know what? I just like flower sausages and unicorns. And if anybody is talking about anything else, I'm just going to block that whole conversation. So I think that's fantastic. They're also talking about personalizing your conversation views, which is really interesting. Now, they haven't exactly rolled this out yet, but I think it's really, really smart that they're going to do that. Conversation views. This has been a request. I've heard this over and over again. Hey, you know what? I can set up a Twitter list, but I can't have a conversation with just that list. My guess is they're finally going to head in that direction, which is great. I don't know, Arjun, are you guys Twitter users at Hello Woofy, or what's up?
We are. We love Twitter. I mean, actually, my last company, we had one of the first investors in Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest invest in my company while I was in college. And so I have a fond place for them as well in my heart. And I think this is exactly what we've been looking for, is a stronger way to connect with individuals that is not a part of the noise, because there's a lot of noise in every medium, especially Twitter. And if we can help convey the marketing message or the communication message or just a hello to the right kinds of people at the right time, it's a win-win situation, both for the platform that's looking for more users to come on board, but also the users that are already there looking for more relevance when it comes to whatever they're doing in a couple of characters themselves.
And overall, I mean, I think that the ability to be able to subscribe to replies, like I have to say, Twitter is doing some fantastic work with testing. With testing a lot of features, and kind of seeing, well, what sticks, what are users actually liking. And that is the thing to keep in mind also with your business. Testing is important. You should do some A/B testing, whether it's testing copywriting, whether it's testing, landing page placement, whether it's testing, your email subscription box. For example, the pop-ups that you get on intent on a page, just constantly testing something on your website or on your social media channels to see what actually resonates with your audience. So I like the fact that Twitter is testing this. Hopefully they do release this.
Yeah, I hope so too, right? I mean, that's the big thing, right? They test a lot of stuff. We try to get ahead of the curve here at Social Chatter. We don't want to just talk about the stuff that everybody else is talking about. This is pretty breaking news, folks. So you're not going to see it yet, but they're testing it. And I would encourage you to think about it, right? So think about it. That's why we're here. Think about, if I could curate, right, like a Facebook group, if I could curate 100 people on Twitter that want to hear my message, that's super duper valuable. Now they might be following 1,000 people, but if I could curate a list and I could just talk to them, what would I say? I can start prepping that. What videos would they want to see? What content do they need? Where do I need to drive them? What might be a good call to action to get them more involved in the community? What might be a good giveaway to get them to download something? Give me feedback so I can make it even better. I mean, this could be what makes Twitter super relevant again. I'm really excited because although I kind of bag on them, I'm like the guys remember the movie Major League, right? And if you remember the guy in center field that was played by Randy Quaid's character, he's always bagging on the Indians, but he really loves the Indians. I got to tell you, I am passionate about Twitter. Twitter is the reason that I exist today in the role that I do, because I'm really fortunate. I've had some amazing conversations. It's why I have a lot of the friends I do. It is why, people have listened to me. So I love Twitter, and I'm hopeful that Jack and the team there really gets this right, because this could change the game back, which would be awesome.
Phil, one of the things, one of the stories I always share about Twitter is one of my friends was able to raise a considerable amount of capital while she was in college, a teenager, from Richard Branson, simply by tweeting back to Richard Branson at a fundraiser. And there's just so many communities and individuals that have had strong relationships built on the platform. And speaking of relationships, as you know, email marketing and the new regulations around whether you can give an email address or you can take an email address from a billing department and use as means of distributing newsletters, things like that. There's a lot of regulation going around. These kind of innovations, this kind of feature allows you to have another means of communication, another creative means of storytelling. And this is just this is fabulous in my opinion.
Yep, totally agree. Any last words, Christian?
I have nothing else I want to add, actually. I think This is, again, good feature. I'm glad Twitter is actually, again, testing, and hopefully they're going to launch this, as well as some of the other Twitter news that we didn't get to this week, which we have on the blog post recap.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, socialchefs.com/daily, folks. You'll get that, and you'll get our Tool Time dance. Right, Christian? They'll get the Tool Time dance if they go to socialchefs.com/daily. It's really the Carlton. It's more a little Carlton, little Cabbage Patch. Dun, 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 dun. But it is time for Tool Time, folks. So if you're wondering, what the heck are we so happy about? It is Tool Time. 2 awesome tools that are coming at you every week. This is when we dance. So if you're playing along and you're tuning in, it is time for you to dance, because it's Tool Time, Tool Time. It's Tool Time. 2 tools talking about how we can do this with Social Chatter. So 2 tools, Christian. Well, what do I want to start with? Well, we're going to save the last 10 minutes for Hello Woofy. So let's do the first tool first. Let's bring Stellar up first. Stellar is an interesting content discovery engine I have to. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
So what is Stellar? Let's tell viewers about Stellar.
Yeah, well, as I see it, it is a content discovery engine, right? It allows us to see different content, different topics that we haven't seen. It's Instagram stories made simple, but content related stories, which I think is super cool, right? Because sometimes I struggle with Instagram. I'm trying to follow a hashtag. I see these promoted posts. I see other stuff, and I'm like, man, I just want to see stuff that is maybe a little bit more curated than Instagram curates it, or maybe just a little differently. Because frankly, if something's already been shared 3 million times, I'm not going to share it. I'm not going to interact with it because I'm going to get hijacked, right? That's the thing. Smaller is sometimes better. I don't know. Arjun, are you guys doing Instagram stuff? What are you thinking?
Yeah, no, we're fully integrated with Instagram, and one of the things that like we've talked about earlier in the conversation is as we're becoming more and more visual in terms of our communications, a story, an Instagram story, which was obviously inspired by Snapchat. This is great for marketers. This is allowing you to communicate your stories and your ideas and messaging, etc., in a very visual way. And this, like a tool like this that helps you create and be inspired, allows you to inspire and allow your customers to create as well in turn, because it's a very visual medium. And so we're huge supporters of Instagram and Pinterest and all the other tools that allow you to be more visual. And you're seeing all the other legacy tools become more visual over time as well. It's just the way of the world is going.
Yeah, and overall, I mean, this is a great tool, from a visual perspective. It's not just, let me just launch my camera. Like, that's like step one of hey, just getting in the habit of creating Instagram stories. And things are evolving on Instagram stories. So basically now this is going to give you access to themes, to different text boxes, the ability to add colors, different fonts, things that jazz up your Instagram stories. Because again, if everybody is just going up on camera, and that's just going to look boring after a while. So
totally agree.
Phil, what do you think about this tool, by the way?
I'm totally going to use it. Right, I've been playing more with Instagram stories. I got to tell you, Stephanie Liu really encouraged us a couple weeks back, and she's coming back actually next week, by the way. But Stephanie Liu is amazing on Instagram. And she has really helped me see that there's a better way to do stories. I follow her. Katie Miller's awesome. Some of our guests are just fantastic. And now, hey, Christian, they might not be tuned in today, so I actually might get the jump on them for a tool. I might actually have one thing, maybe one post that's better than them, and then they'll pick it up and they'll crush me. But, I feel good about that, right? Because they're good. They're really good, right? Come on, man. Right?
Absolutely. And here's the thing, like, I was just actually just talking with somebody about live video, to digress here for a second. And we're talking about, for instance, how we build this show. And the people were like, hey, my show doesn't look as good, as polished as yours does. And the thing is, it's all about, you see something you like, you just deconstruct it. How do they build this, for example? And, it's the same thing with Instagram stories. If somebody has a story that you follow, it's not just the content they're sharing, but it's also the way it's visually put together. Ask them what tool they're using, for example, because chances are they're using a tool, or maybe they have somebody else helping them out design some things. And hopefully if that person's going to be transparent with you, they will tell you what they use. They might even help you out with getting started, because everybody has to start somewhere. And most people start at the same place, which is basically at step one. So this is stellar for Instagram stories. And as from a cost standpoint, it's a freemium app. It's a free app with some additional paid features that you can purchase. For example, you can get the film in-app purchase, different covers, the Santorini option, the blush theme if you like that, the shadows list and stay option as well. And those are between 99 cents and $2. So keep that in mind. So that's tool number one for the week.
And by the way, once you're done with that, head on over to hellowoofy.com and we'll help you schedule at the right time.
There you go. That's a great segue, right? Think about that. Now you don't just have to be cool, but now you can be effective. I don't know, Arjun. I don't know, man. I don't know that I want to be effective. I don't think analytics are really that important. What do you think, Arjun?
It's not just the analytics. It's about the means of coming up with the right story, and not only the right story, but having the most effective copy, the most effective combination of hashtags and emojis and copy. Overall, it's a science, but it's an art at the same time. And if we're talking about Hello Woofy now, we're trying to allow every small business owner to have a fighting chance, a strong fighting chance to be able to compete with the big boys, and do it with a lot of fun, a lot of creativity in and of itself.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Very cool. Well, let's talk about Hello Woofy now. Before we do, you've got one video that you want to share, right, Arjun? So let's share the video, and then let's talk about your tool. Is that cool?
Yeah. Well, if you want to go to vimeo.com/HelloWoofy.
So that's vimeo.com/HelloWoofy. HELLOWOOFY.
Yep, that is it. And let's see as it pulls up. And then I can share the screen and give you a little inside scoop. We're actually launching in about 3 hours, which is very exciting today.
Holy cow, you're launching in 3 hours.
We're launching at 4:15 p.m. EST. Our developers are hard at work QAing right now. And so the first video is actually what we're very proud of, is that search engine I was telling you about. It's designed to, it's basically based off something called complex network theory. It's also known as social networking theory. So say, you know, Christian, you and I are now friends, and you have a friend named Lisa, and, you know, Lisa has a friend named Sarah. You know better than I do what's the likelihood that Sarah and I would get along, right? And then, but what's the likelihood that Sarah and my friend Rohan would get along? So similarly, what we've done is, and you can see on the right side of that monitor over there on the laptop, essentially map the entire English language to help you understand which words do really well with other words that do really well with other words. But more importantly, we also mapped and we built the world's first visual dictionary, which is what Woofy.ai is, to help you map English words with emojis, with imagery, with other hashtags. So imagine being able to, you know, essentially you're typing your social media copy and you're like, it'll know that you're about to type you. It'll be kind of like Gmail Smart Compose. It'll complete the word. But on top of that, it'll give you recommendations on emojis and hashtags and images that might be relevant to you. And, you know, of course, you could do it on your own. I mean, absolutely you could do it on your own, but it'll take you hours. And those hours for a client that you're billing, or those hours for people you're paying, is a lot of, you know, cost that is going out the door. So we're not looking to replace people, by the way. We're looking to augment. We're looking to enhance your ability to be an effective marketer and actually do 10x of what you're already doing. And imagine what the big agencies are going to be able to do if they 10x what they're doing.
Wow. That's pretty powerful, man. That's a great opportunity for folks, right?
Yeah.
Take a look at this. This is pretty nifty. Really got some great potential.
I mean, yep, go ahead.
You want to play the first video? Is this the one you want me to play?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Okay. Little buffering going on, maybe.
Come on, Vimeo. Well, you know what? The real case study that I really wanted to talk about is towards the end, where actually, you know, I didn't do the research. HubSpot and Adobe have done a considerable amount of research into this, and one of the statistics that comes out is emojis in a tweet can increase engagement by 25.4%, and emojis in a Facebook post can increase the number of likes by 57%. I mean, it's double digit. We're not talking 1%, 2%, maybe 9%. We're talking double digit uplifts. And according to Adobe emoji trend report that just came out a couple of weeks ago, 48% of respondents say they're more likely to follow a brand on social media if it uses an emoji, while 44% claim to be more likely to purchase products that are advertised using emojis. If you remember the Domino ad or the campaign that came out a couple of months ago, they wanted you to send a pizza emoji to basically get a pizza. And, you know, it's just a new means of, you know, communicating. 58% of respondents say they're more likely to open an email. And we've seen that personally when we A/B test our newsletters. 58% of respondents say they're more likely to open an email with an emoji in the subject line. I mean, I don't know, you guys are using emojis, but, like, you know, this is very powerful insight coming in the next 5 years. This is the next battlefield. I mean, creatives are going to be able to do more storytelling than ever before.
Well, and that was the point, right? From before, let's talk about that real quick. And that is more fun equals more emojis, right? Emojis are fun. So that's where this is going. Christian, what are you going to do with this, man? What are you thinking?
I got to say, I like the artificial intelligence aspect of Hello. So, like, not just being, and I kind of talked about this earlier at the beginning of the show, which is like, it's not just, hey, I got another social media dashboard tool to be able to schedule content. The part that I think I really like is the fact that you can put your scheduled content in. You could also then add RSS feeds and websites and things like that you're interested in. And it seems like Hello Wolfie is actually going to use AI to actually help then surface content for you. Is that right, Arjun?
Absolutely. And we actually go one step further. Not only do we read the blog post you're about to share by the URL, we read it, we come up with quotes that you could then be using. You can come up with hashtags based on what the article is about, not just, you know, things we think about. It's contextually based on the article itself. We come with emojis based off that. And when you see it, it says compliance marketing engine. What that means is last year, you may remember, Twitter came out and they updated their terms of service. And they said, if they detect anything that is duplicated or too similar, and by the way, that last part is too vague for any marketer to truly understand. In our case, we come up with a percentage. If they detect anything of that nature, they'll delete your account. And they don't care if you're a new user or a Fortune 500 company with millions of customers following you. That kind of a mistake could be detrimental to a small business owner. So we took care of that. We basically make sure that every copy, every piece of information that is being sent out using our platform, it has a score of similarity to something you scheduled in the last 60 days, the next 60 days, and content in your library as well. And by the way, in the library, we're continuously trying to figure out what you're talking about, how you're talking about it, what emojis you're using, what hashtags you're using. And the reason why we do that is it's called machine learning, is to basically figure out how can we as a company, as a platform, allow you to have more insights into your own content distribution strategy itself. And so, this might sound very complicated and very, very complex, but the fact of the matter is when you go inside the platform, it's color driven, it's visual. We even have colorblind support. If you're colorblind, we have patterns on the buttons. We allow you to have a very minimal approach.
That's awesome. I'm colorblind. That's fantastic, Arjun.
Yeah.
That's great news.
I'd love to show you the platform itself. We're launching in about 4 hours, give or take. And, we're looking for feedback. And, we're also in the process of looking for capital partners, partners in general, agencies to work with. But we're just looking to help people.
Awesome. Awesome. Christian, what do you think, man? You think we let them show the platform off?
I'd love to see the platform. I think this is a very useful tool.
Yeah.
I love the AI app. To me, that's the big win.
Cool. So, Christian, any last words before we hand it over to Arjun to give us a test drive?
I don't have any last words. Maybe the other question I have is what's the cost, I guess? What's the cost of the tool?
Yeah. Great question. So if you actually head over to the pre-order page and you scroll down a little bit, you'll be able to see a competitive landscape of the price itself, us versus a couple other companies. So we're right now giving the product away close to free on the pre-order page for the next 4 hours. We'll keep that price for your viewers and everyone else. And so we're giving it away from between $7 to $8 a month. Which
holy cow!
Yeah, we're giving it away close to free. We're not caring about cost. We just want to get 1,000 people and support them. But when we do launch, we're looking to launch at $49 a month, and that's right up against one of our closest competitors. It's about $20 more expensive than our biggest competitor. But HelloWoofy.com, it's for the small business. It's by a small business owner that has been in this space for a very long time. We understand your pain points, and if anything, we want your feedback.
Holy crap! So hold on. So $8 a month. So how long? If I sign up for a year, you're going to bill me $96, or how's that work?
Yep, exactly. And then we'll give you your grandfather. Then, by the way, Phil, you pay that, you get that.
You get that. So okay. So real quick before I let you demo, I got to say this. Okay, so $8 a month. When Hootsuite rolled out the first time, they were $5.99 a month, and then suddenly they jumped up. We got Arjun on here who says he's going to lock you in $8 a month. $8 a month. I want you to really think about that, folks. For better analytics, for analytics that you couldn't share, for analytics that actually make some sense, that have AI built in. Arjun did not ask me to say this. Let me be really clear. And anybody who's listening to the show knows I'm not a shill. $100, you get insight you don't get anywhere else for 1 year. And then you pay $100 every single year. If you're an agency owner and you're listening to this and you're not jumping on this now in the next 4 hours, you are an idiot. So, Arjun, I'm going to turn it over to you, buddy.
Yeah, no, and there you can see, a couple of customers, and you can see the comparison to our, some of our competitors. Price-wise, we're right up against them. In some cases, we're more expensive by a little bit, but the point of the matter is we do 10, 15 times any other company in our space, in our small business, medium-sized business space is doing. And we're not just doing it for the sake of features. We're doing it because this is the trend that we see is happening today and is going to happen tomorrow. And we feel every small business owner should be a part of that trend, should not get left behind, because the big companies are, following the trends. They have bigger budgets. They have hundreds of people working at their company, and they're able to afford it. I think every small business owner, and here, get this, because we find the perfect emojis, hashtags, and words that go with your social media copy, we didn't realize that we were building an engine that was so competitive and so differentiated versus our competition that we could help tier 2 countries, freelancers in those countries, certainly have more business when they come back to the US or Canada or Australia and the UK, because English might be a second language, might be a third language for them. And they're always uncertain about, did they write the right social copy? Was it grammatically correct? Does it make sense? Well, we figure out all of that. And so we're an augmented tool for them. So we're not just talking about the four tier 1 countries according to Facebook. We're talking about the entire world having a level playing field. And imagine the civilization, the progress we can make in marketing storytelling.
Wow. Awesome.
Sorry, that's our mission.
I'm looking forward to trying this, but do you have a quick demo you want to show?
Yeah, let me click on share screen. Let's choose an application window, and let's see, we can share the screen right here. All right, let me know if you see my screen. You see my screen?
Not yet.
Yes, I have it here, actually, yes.
You do? Okay, great. So,
coming up. Yep, good.
Great. So how many minutes do I have, by the way?
We're going to give you 180 seconds. Go for 3 minutes, buddy.
Okay, got it. Well, so welcome to the platform. This is now looking at the dashboard itself. And what you'll immediately notice is that it's very, very, a lot of white space. It's very color driven. And so what that means is on the left side, the purple is indicative of campaigns. So, you might have a campaign coming out on a Monday, on a Friday. You want to talk about the tips of the week for marketers. Great. You want to do it every week. Great. Now, if you want to run a marketing campaign on a Wednesday, maybe you want to do it every 2 weeks. That's also a campaign, and that'll be shown in purple on the calendar. Now, in the blue, in the middle, what that's indicative of is an ad hoc social media post. That might be something you want to post today. Your client asks you to post something tomorrow or next week. None of those posts together have a sense of a correlation, but they're very important to the scheduling, obviously. And so those are shown as blue dots on the calendar. Green is essentially your brain dump. This is where you throw all the copy, all your graphics that are just not ready to be added to the library, which is where all the AI analysis is happening, or the calendar, where all your posts is basically set up to be distributed to the platforms. Now, of course, you have the ability to add up to 9 individuals, including yourself, to the team. You can add your clients, you can add your colleagues, you can add other administrators, however you feel like working with your team. And then the squiggly thing you're seeing on the bottom right, you can click on it and you can do voice recognition. I'm talking about voice recognition. This is you talking to the platform saying, Woofy, create a campaign for me. Woofy, show me where my settings are. Woofy, take me to my library. And that's a great feature that is, by the way, I've never heard of anyone having.
How about Woofy, can you get me a date? Woofy, find me a girlfriend in Tampa. Can you do that?
Here's some dates here. So, we can.
Oh, there we go. Right to the calendar. Yeah, right. I was looking for the date. You got it. See, you helped me.
Perfect timing. The screen changed right as
I know,
saying that.
Right? Isn't that funny, right?
So
go ahead.
So let's continue. So one of the issues, and I'm sure you can relate to this, is finding content across the internet is a grunt work in and of itself. And I know when running my own agency, I had to find content on a weekly basis. So it's not like you schedule 1 week's worth of content on our competitor, and then you're sitting on the beach and you're sipping your pina colada, and you're like, oh, I don't have to worry about this ever again. No, every Sunday night you're worrying about the next week. And so it's almost being like an indentured servant to content marketing. Well, end that, please. What we're doing now is bringing over 50 different publications to your fingertips. And not only are we bringing them to you, we're helping you categorize them. And what you can do is read the article. So for example, this is about technology. Let's look at VChat. We can read the article right here. Notice we haven't left the platform. Okay. We can add it to the library. Notice we haven't left the platform. We can delete the title because that might be duplicated. According to Twitter, it might not be okay. But notice what we did here. We're giving you insights. We're giving you real quotes from the article that you can use for the purpose of posting this. So let's add this into here. Let's add, this hashtag into here because this is contextually relevant. It's about China. It's about electronics and business. Let's add this to the post once category. Let's add this to the library. So now what's happening, of course, you saw the AI engine kick in, but now what's happening is the compliance engine is making sure to make sure that Christian and Phil haven't posted anything in the last 60 days that is too similar, or in the next 60 days, too similar. In the library, again, too similar. We take care of that. And of course, as you can see here, these are some similarity scores you can see across every piece of content in the library. We're helping you figure out when you're getting too similar. And at 85% on Twitter, we'll put a full stop and we'll tell you you need to switch it up a little bit. So let's go back here and let's see, if you want to switch it up a little bit, let's say Phil loves this amazing article. Actually, Phil, you don't like the word amazing, right? You like the word awesome. So let's switch it up. Right? You like that word. So let's switch it up a little bit and let's, save it then. Of course, then it'll run the compliance engine and it'll make sure that you're good to go. But we take care of your ability to change it up a little bit. We don't leave you to your own, on your own. And the other thing that we take care of is graphic design. Of course, I'm sure you've done it before. Upload the wrong PPI, the wrong resolution, the wrong size. Every platform has its own size. Well, thanks to Design Bolt, Crello, and soon Canva, all you have to do is click, 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 drag, 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 and you're good to go. I mean, this is just a demo I'm about to do, but imagine being able to drag your creative assets, your creative storytelling, your copy, click publish, automatically gets synced into the library, and you can create a social post out of that. Now, moving into a calendar, one of the things you'll notice is also very color driven. Green to yellow to red is indicative of how busy your days and weeks are getting by calendar and by client. And by the way, if you have a campaign that you're running that might be 2 days, 2 weeks, or 10 years, you don't have to click on it, change the time, change the date. Are you sure you want to change these, make these modifications, click yes, blah, blah, blah. All you have to do is take your finger or your cursor and drag and drop. And it'll change it all across the platform itself, depending, if it hasn't been posted itself. Now, in the timeline view, you're able to see a Gantt chart view, essentially, of your campaign. So these are your single posts. If you remember, the blue and the purple ones are your campaigns. You can see concurrently which campaigns are running and one after the other. We make it super easy for you. Now, in the settings view, one of the things you're going to see is, of course, we have colorblind support right here, but predictive linguistics is exactly what I was telling you before. It's the ability for us to predict what you're typing. So, and this is, by the way, built in-house. So let's say we were typing, how are you? There you go. Enter tab again. Here's a question mark, right? And that's essentially what I was trying to show you earlier. Is that's what the engine we built essentially to help you figure out. So let's go to Woofy.ai and show you the backend, the visual backend of how that technology works. So of course, for the demo purpose, I put in I love puppies. I'm a huge dog lover, as you can see. I have a dog right behind me sleeping on the bed. But I love puppies. Maybe you're a veterinarian. You want to choose the right kind of combination. So these images are copyright free. From Unsplash that we recommend you use. Obviously, this is a dog emoji. Let's say this is another dog emoji. This is a paw emoji. And since I talked about love, I love heart, and there we go. We're good to go. Now, and of course, if you wanted to look at the rest of the network, this is called a complex network. You can drag it around. You can play with it. You can do whatever you want with it, and you can click on copy to clipboard. And of course, you can. By the way, in this situation, you can use our competitors if you like. You can go to Facebook directly if you like. Or if you want a little bit of intelligence, click here and we'll funnel you into our platform. So let's go ahead and click on add content. Let's paste it in here. And immediately what will happen is that you have basically your ability to type it up, add it to content. And you can see other emojis are being detected and suggested based off what you just typed. Now, I don't know about you, Phil and Christian, but if you want to go through 2,832 emojis and try to figure out which ones are the most relevant, good for you, but I'm sure I don't have that much time. So we do that for you.
Wow, dude, there's so much here. So much we could talk about. And I got to tell you, my platform of choice is typically Agora Pulse, man. But this is going to go head to head with the guys there, and I can totally use it as my content engine. Still get some, and play with both of them. So really awesome. Cool.
We don't want to replace you. We don't want to replace you. We want to help you have an exoskeleton. So imagine, what you could. I mean, Tesla is a great example. Tesla, first of all, is not a car company. It's an energy company, right? Mm-hmm. We're not a social media company. We're a data science company. We want to help small business owners leverage data science in the most visual way possible, and then make business decisions based on that. In this case, social media.
Wow. Well, so much we could go into. So, Arjun, you launched in a couple hours. We're super jacked for that.
Thank you.
What if there's one thing that you would tell people that's going to change their lives if they're a small business owner and using Hello Woofy, what would it be?
Get your time back. Like, there's no other commodity. There's nothing more important than your time, right? As a small business owner, you have kids. As a mommy blogger, you have kids. You're running it from your home. Time, every minute, every hour, every day is valuable to you. And even if you don't have those family responsibilities, you have a business to run. You have accounting to do. Insurance to do. All of these other aspects of running your business. If we can give you 10 hours back, it'll be worth the $49 you spend a month. And if not, then maybe you can go through the 2,832 emojis and figure out what's most engaging or whatnot, or just let us do the grunt work, right? Let us do it, and we'll give it to you in a visual format that a 10-year-old influencer can understand how to run a marketing campaign and be effective at it. And by the way, there are 10-year-old influencers that are making millions of dollars, and we want everyone to be able to do that.
Wow.
So hellowoofy.com and woofy.ai. If you want to reach out to me, it's arjun@hellowoofy.com. I am happy to jump on a phone call, happy to help you with your business. We just want to support small business.
Wow. Good stuff. HelloWoofy.com. That's hello, WOOFY.com. So Christian, last words from you, buddy.
I got to say, this is a fantastic tool. I'm looking forward to giving it a try and just seeing what all it can do. I mean, I got the gist of it from the demo that you gave. So thank you very much for doing that.
Wow.
For giving this a try, and great price.
Thank you very much.
Price. So
cool.
By the way, Arjun, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you? Obviously, you said your email address, but if they want to connect with you on your social media channels, is there a channel that they should primarily go to do that?
Yeah, Twitter is the best form for sure. So if I just go to, Woofy HQ is fine too. I get the tweets themselves, or they can tweet at me directly, which is ARJUNME. That's my personal Twitter page. I mean, you can just Google me. There, my email, my phone number. It's all public. I'm happy always to talk to people and support them in any way I can. But like I said, we want to support small and medium-sized companies all over the world have a fighting chance to do what they do best, which is creative storytelling. And we're starting with social media.
Fantastic, Phil. Anything you want to add, by the way, as a parting thought, like? Who do we have on next week on the show?
Well, so super excited. Yeah, next week is Stephanie Liu, which is really fantastic. She's been on before. Love her energy. She knows more about video than most people that I know. Super excited for her. She's going to be on next week, so definitely stay tuned for that. Let's see. Hold on. I'm just going to look at my calendar real quick. We're on at 1:00 Eastern next week, which is 10:00 Pacific, because we keep getting all these West Coasters on that want later times. I think they should get up at 5 a.m. like you do, Christian. Right? I mean, come on, man. What's the problem? So if you're a weak sauce West Coaster that doesn't get up till 9:30 a.m., you got to bring some more heat than that, because Arjun brought it today with Hello Woofy. I don't know.
I had to wake up at 5 a.m. because our team is based offshore in India and Ukraine, and got to live the hustle. You got to live the hustle. Get somewhere in life.
Live your dream.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
I want to thank everyone for joining us this week, by the way. Sorry for going a little bit over the normal time, but I hope you guys really enjoyed all of the topics this week. Don't forget to check out the blog post recap. That's socialchefs.com/SC204. And be sure you connect with Arjun, because he's got a fantastic tool here. Lots, very, very, very smart individuals, so you connect with him as well. But I want to thank everybody for watching, for tuning in. We will see you all next Thursday, as Phil mentioned, at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook.com/socialchefs, as well as YouTube.com/socialchefs. I want to thank everybody for watching, and Arjun, thanks for being a guest this week. So
it's such an honor. Thank you so much. It's such an honor.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Just stay, and we'll see you guys next week, next Thursday. Thanks a lot for watching.